Ain't this what they've been waiting for? He said, Rob Scott, you ready? He said, I used to pray for times like this. Rob Scott, oh my God. Listen, I'm on a show right now with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Rob Scott of Rob's 2 Cents. Man, I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like that, so I had to grind like this to shine like that. In a matter of time I spent on some locked up shit in the back of a paddy wagon comes on with Rob Scott.
Yo,
How are you, baby?
what's happening, Mike Hughes,
Man,
baby?
nothing, just little Meek Mill action, no Diddy. You know, you know, same old, same old, same old, same old. Welcome to the Shot Kid Podcast, brought to you by iHeartRadio's very own Give Us a Shot Network. I am here today with Team Greatness himself. Team Greatness
TG,
won.
baby.
Team Greatness won. TG won. He got that
TG.
one because someone already had Team Greatness, so he had the TG one. But whatever. That's
Actually, TG 13, you feel me?
man. Rob, how was Thanksgiving, man?
It was beautiful, man.
Hmm.
Got a lot of things to be thankful for, even if you don't feel like it.
Sure
You
do.
got things to be thankful for.
Sure, of
How was
course.
yours, brother?
Ass, but I was thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to see Friday. I'm thankful to see Fire Flu's Friday. It was a long time in the making.
Fire Flu Friday.
It's cold. It's cold.
It's
Black
cold world
Friday.
out here.
It's cold, but J. Cole dropping the warm up, so you get a little toasty on the Spotify and the listening platforms. But man, we've been chilling, been doing our thing, been a lot of fun. Ain't seen Rob Scott in almost a calendar year. I don't care what he got going on. You could put that man on blast because I need more. I need more Rob's 2 Cents podcast brought to you by Rob Scott himself. So
It's been
hopefully,
a lot going on. It's been a lot going on in my life.
care, bro. I need you in my life, brother. The people need you on the daily commute, brother.
Hey, I miss the people.
Man, come on.
I miss the people. I miss my boy Mike Hughes, man. We got a lot of Mars. We got to get back to Mars, low
Man,
key.
I ain't gonna lie to you. This is the first NBA season in a while that I haven't really been watching this season. Like I think the only full game I've really watched this year was Curry versus Clay in their first matchup. That was really it, and they both punched my ticket, so I was happy no matter who won. But I really just haven't been on my p's and q's with the
You
NBA.
know why? You just said it. The NBA used to be full of storylines.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be things you look forward to. Games you marked off on your calendar. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that the NBA has done a horrible job at marketing games. Like everybody had the Clay versus Curry matchup, especially after what we saw Steph do in the Olympics. But it's like after that, it's like, what do you really have to look forward? Nobody really cares about the in season tournament.
Right.
Nobody cares
Not at
about
all. Not at all. I mean, I don't like. I was talking to a couple of my buddies of mine, and they were like, "Dude, don't you want to go to the United Center and see the whole arena and how it looks?"
Not
And
really.
I really don't care. It don't look that well. I have bad vision, so like it's way too bright in there for me. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it just is what it is, man. But before we get
And
into
after
some,
and after I just worked on the DNC,
oh
I
man,
particularly don't want to go back to the United Center for a while.
no, man, I remember. I remember. You told me exactly that. You said, "Hey, man, I can't watch a Bulls game for a minute, man. I guarantee." But we got some Bulls news today, and what makes me so happy about it is it has nothing to do with anybody currently on the Chicago Bulls because I do not want to talk or watch any single one of them as of late. But we got some news over on the best basketball high school facility in the entire city, in the entire country. Simeon Academy broke some news earlier today with Adidas. Derrick Rose is now being partnered with not only Adidas but Simeon, his school that made him who he is today. They are now going to be the first Derrick Rose school. He is going to be partnering for both the boys and girls teams, giving them jerseys.
Yeah,
Obviously, you saw the little jersey patch on the side that looks incredible. I think it's amazing, man. I think it's amazing to really see, the rose that grew through the concrete. Like that's everything.
for
And
sure.
to be able to express that how much that meant to him even years later, especially after his retirement. It there's guys who talk about it, and then there's guys who are walking about it, and Derrick Rose has always been somebody who walked about it, and I think it's really great to see him just be able to do this. He did say in a statement, high school is where it all started for me, which is why I'm excited to announce the first Rose School with Simeon Career Academy. That foundation made me into the player and person I am today. But this isn't just about basketball, it's about providing opportunity, inspiring the next generation, and showing young athletes that they can achieve anything. That was a statement by Derrick Rose that it kind of means more. It kind of means more, especially coming from him. If you heard it
Yeah.
from Anthony Davis or you heard it from somebody else, it's a little different. But for him to kind of come up and rep that 25, who everybody knows, the significance of that. To be one of the first to do it from this city, coming from Inglewood, playing in the United Center, being the youngest MVP to this day. To this day. I thought Luka almost had it, but to this day, Derrick Rose is still one of them ones. So for him to go back where it all started, Matt, is incredible. What did you think when you saw that news?
You know what, man? It's just a testament to what D Rose truly means to the city. You know, I know coming from a basketball, aficionado spot, a basketball, a person who studies the game. I get why a lot of people like, hey, pump the brakes on the accolades that you want to give D Rose. But I heard KG mention something interesting. As far as the Bulls needing to build a statue for D Rose, it's
Mm,
not just our basketball talent alone. As we know, he was one of the, as you mentioned, youngest MVP. He gave the city hope while he was still healthy. And then everybody smiled when we saw him score 51 with Minnesota. But to what he meant to the city, to see a guy, Mike, being the guy from the north side, because I tell a lot of people now, north side ain't sweet. You know what I'm saying? It go down up north too.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me being the south side as well, and a person that understands the dynamics of the city of Chicago, to see one of our own make it, to see one of our own have a dream that one day I'm gonna not only play in the NBA but get to play for my city, get to play for my hometown, get to play for the house that Michael Jordan built. You know what I mean? And to not only come in and make a statement, but to come in and give hope. To see what D Rose has meant to the city of Chicago, to see what he's meant to the inner city of Chicago, not just Chicago as a whole, but us coming out of the dirt, coming out of the mud, seeing people grind and try to make it. D Rose has been a true testament of what hard work, discipline, and a little bit of luck can get you. You know what I mean? And to now see him go back home, saying to go back to where it all started at Simeon and to see what he's done for this program, not just for this program, but for his best friend. As we all know, Tim Flowers, saying one of my homies, is the head coach now, Simeon. Everybody know about Big Tim Flowers who played in that middle position as Simeon, as Simeon was winning those city and state championships, man. To see how D Rose wants to give back to his friends, give back to the community, and to just, hopefully bring forth that new star out of that program. And Simeon has been a staple. I talk to my boy B Hall all the time. Shout out to Brandon Hall, who was a backup guard behind Rose, and he talks about all the time about what Rose means to the city and what Rose means to that former team and how he gives back and how Rose is always looking out. Man, it just shows the type of guy he is, what I'm saying, the type of family that he was raised from. That Rose name is truly now a legacy name in the city of Chicago. And I'm just proud of him, man. A guy that should be in the Hall of Fame in my eyes, just based off, what he's meant to this culture. Hey, Felton said it best. When people had to play D Rose, a lot of people had that D Rose flu. You know what I'm saying? They ain't want to get down with the kid, but my boy, you know what I'm saying? D Rose was a menace out here in the NBA. And a lot of these stars that you see out here now didn't want to talk to, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want to see that man on his best day. You know what I'm saying? I'm just so happy that he's getting his roses, you know what I'm saying? No pun intended, you know, and that people are like really understanding what he means to the culture.
Yeah.
You know, the culture, Chicago is his own culture. People want to be like us, Mike. I don't know if you know this. People want to be like us in Chicago from the lingo, from the way that we walk, from the way that we talk, man. He's a true embodiment of the city, man. And I'm truly happy to see him give back, not just to his old school, but to see, you know what I'm saying, the commitment he makes to his friends and making sure that everybody has a chance to eat.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, there's so many levels to it as well. I think we really talk about, the importance of what the Bulls are going to look like moving forward, and how they can continue to build a brand. But it's so much bigger than that, because you see a guy like Derrick Rose doing it on his own. Like, there's a lot of organizations, the Chicago Sky, the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago Bears. They do a lot for the community, but who's really going to be there night in and night out? I do believe Derrick Rose is going to be there, and being able to provide guys like Tim Flowers, who Tim is an absolute dog and an absolute amazing human being. I've got a chance to talk to him a few times and really just pick his brain. And I think for me, why it's so important is, there is a culture in Simeon. There always has been. That 25 on your chest is really important. And repping Simeon also, it comes with the territory of you have the city on your back, and everybody's watching you. But I think what's most important for me about this is not only do you have that culture behind you, but now you have an example. When you mentioned earlier that Derrick Rose deserves a statue at the United Center, I think it goes far more than did he ever win a championship here. He won a championship just by being who he is today. And I think a kid whose dad spent a whole month just trying to get, tickets in the nosebleeds to go see Zach LaVine drop a 30 ball, sees a guy like Derrick Rose, sees that statue and thinks, man, that could be me one day. We could be sitting in a press box. We could be doing something amazing.
Nah, for sure.
It's that idea of, I could see it in front of me. It's visible. So to have that Derrick Rose patch on the side as well, kind of just reiterating that, hey, people like us can make it. People from this school can make it. It could be somebody that's right across the hall from you. It could be somebody that, you share study hall with. You don't know who the next one's going to be. Taylor Horton Tucker, real unfortunate that I saw this go viral the other day. I don't know if you saw the video. Somebody was saying that Taylor Horton Tucker was just some guy they picked off the street, some guy sitting courtside. Who is this guy? He just looks like somebody that
They don't know THT.
I'm like,
That's not real Chicagoan right there.
that's
You
what
know,
I'm
'cause
saying.
that's actually one of my homies' cousin, and THT is a cool dude. You know what
One
I'm
of them
saying? Really
ones.
outside the court. He's one of the coolest guys you can meet. But
Yeah.
on that court, man, on that court, you can't deny that the man is a dog.
And first of all, what we're not gonna do is disrespect an NBA champion. That's number one, first and foremost.
NBA player. I don't
Yeah.
care how you feel about an NBA player. Do you know how hard it is to get into the league?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how hard it is to get into the league?
It's
How many times have people went up to the court and like, man, I've met players that could play in the NBA. It takes more than just skill to pay the bills. You understand what I'm saying?
No, for sure. It's crazy because you hear that stuff, especially someone sitting courtside at a Bulls game. Is like, first of all, you walk outside, everybody knows Taylor Horton Tucker. Anybody who knows Chicago hoops understands who he is. So like, what he was able to bring for the city of Chicago, what guys like Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly, and so many others have contributed to this. I mean, Isaiah Thomas. I know we don't talk a lot about him on a Bulls podcast,
Isaiah Thomas, Will
but
Bynum, KG.
you know,
We can keep going on. Sharon Collins. Like we can keep going on and on about play. Even Eddie Curry got a ring. I remember going to see Eddie Curry up at Thornwood, and he's out there getting down. Like people don't understand this.
mhm,
Chicago has a rich history in this basketball world, man. And it's
yeah.
time that y'all start paying us some respect.
Nah, for sure, and it was really dope. Like, there's a bunch of dudes too, even on the current Bulls roster, even in the Windy City Bulls roster. That like a good friend of mine who I've known for a long time. Whitney Young legend, DJ Stewart doing his thing, man. I mean, it's incredible to see him be able. I mean, I got to interview him at media day, and I was like, man, that's crazy, bro. Because I remember going over there for baseball games, going over there just trying to, we're just hanging out. We're just high school kids going to check out the basketball games. Like, we're going all over the city. I remember we used to go to Walter Payton. We used to go to Whitney Young. We used to go to all these different places just to kind of see who's up next. I remember we went to Taft one time and screamed overrated at some kid I never saw again. But whatever, that's a whole other thing. But I think it's really cool though to see these guys come out. Even Io DeSumo right now. I know Modest Buzelis is from the suburbs, but he understands what it means to be a Chicago Bulls fan. So to see such and Taylor Horton Tucker, such a Chicago heavy driven team, it's really incredible. But man, me and you, man, we've been waiting for this next topic for about 3 years now. I've been waiting for it since they hired the motherfucker. Like, Matt Eberflus gets canned. Fire Flus Friday used to be a segment I did all 2023. You remember? I would hop on the pod every Friday last season. Fire Flus Friday. Will this be the day? It never came. And
It's
then
like
this
count me the ways and how many times this dude should have been fired.
man. But Rob, the straw that broke the camel's back inevitably was the final timeout that was never called. Can you kind of take me through not only
Oh my
what
god.
take me through what the last few weeks have meant, in the decision that was firing Matt Eberflus, because it's the first time in over 100 years that the Bears have done this midseason.
You know what, man? Eberflus did everything that he could to lose his job.
Everything.
To me,
and and,
like,
and not to cut you off, but in
yeah,
so many different ways, in creative
it,
ways, like in ways I
it,
never thought were possible.
dude, it was amazing. It was like, how can you count the ways? Like seriously, it was like just taking you through Thanksgiving, dude. Like, I'm watching the game. I'm seeing that this team is trying to make a comeback. I'm seeing that this team is playing some of the best football in the second half that they probably played all season,
Yeah.
going against a powerhouse like the Detroit Lions. And yes, the Detroit Lions is a powerhouse in the NFL. And to see them put their best foot forward, despite the coaching, despite the personnel, despite the protection, to see Caleb Williams go out there and make some great plays, when you just have a lapse of judgment like that, like you see that your team is on the brink of getting in field goal position, getting in position to tie the game. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Like, we have nothing to lose. Let's go for the win. But you're not in the position right there to go for the win. You're in the best position to go ahead, tie it up, and just hope for the best in overtime. Which a lot of Bears fans, I would have walked away feeling okay with a loss in overtime.
Yeah.
But to not even get a fucking chance, excuse my language, to not even get a chance to see if we could have made it to overtime. It's like, dude, you just got almost into field goal position. You don't even call a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all you have to do. Don't blame it on Caleb. He's a rookie. He's not going to call timeout.
Yeah.
He's looking for you for guidance.
Right.
He's looking to the rest of this coaching staff for guidance. And unfortunately, you're the head of the coaching staff. Like, dude, you run things, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the first time we've seen Eagle Flus do these questionable calls, do these questionable things. Like, dude, my man should have been suspended that missed the Hail Mary play.
Yeah. Tyrese Maxey.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I get it. You can't put the entire scope of that game on that man's play. But dude, when you see the video of him going back and forth with the crowd, do you see what Indiana just did? They made an unpopular decision to bench their quarterback because of the statement he made. I'm tired. Who are you to be tired? Who are you to be? Okay, you're tired. Sit your tired ass down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And if you got a guy that's up here distracted with the fans, that's not making the right play, that's not keeping his head in the game, suspend his ass. Yeah, you gotta sit down for a game or two. I don't care what goes. That's what I'm saying. Evil Flus is not a leader.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he gone, bro. I am so first we got rid of Waldron. It's like, dude, you keep putting these offensive coordinators in play who are horrible. We finally got one who took more accountability on the loss than the coach did.
Mm-hmm.
How does the offensive coordinator come in and say, you know what, that's on me? I didn't hear none of that from Eagle. We made the right play. I think what we did was right. Shut the hell up, dude.
Nah, yeah, and that was the part that really got me the most, man, because like for me, what was really frustrating was every single time over the last 3 weeks, we going back to back to back on divisional rivals. I feel like we could have beat all three of them: Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit. And I think
All three of them.
the worst part for me was every single time, and I will give you grace on the Green Bay game because that ending I felt like was gonna be so
Hell
bullshit.
no. He don't get no grace from me. I'm sorry, but I'm saying this.
As you know what I mean, like. What the fuck am I supposed to do on a blocked field goal kick? You know what I mean? Like that's just Bears topia. That's just what we know. But I think, hearing you say every single time that I think we did it the right way, it's like I would rather you sit there and tell me that you fucked up and that you will be better. That's something for me where it's like, it kind of reminded me of Matt Nagy. Oh yeah, well we'll just go to practice. We're gonna have a great week of practice and we're gonna find out the whys. And I'm like, it's why is because you fucking suck. Why are you still here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So it's like for me with Flus, again, I've said this from day one. And it's funny to me seeing a lot of networks, seeing a lot of media people, seeing a lot of radio voices now on the anti-Matt Eberflus bandwagon. I remember when this was Justin Fields' fault. I remember when everything was Justin Fields' fault, and you couldn't put it
Dude,
on Flus
we've honestly been blaming it on the quarterback.
a
Like
long
from an
time,
organization standpoint, we blamed it on the quarterback for a long time.
a long time.
Finally, it got to the point where we were like, okay, we got to let Matt Nagy go. But Eberflus has got to like really travel with a lot of immunity as a coach.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of horrible decisions, and it seemed like nobody looked at Eberflus. And for me, I was looking at it as from a standpoint of, dude, your money and your reputation
Yeah.
is built on defense, and now you can't even call simple run stopping plays. Like you got teams running all over. Like if your reputation is stapled on the fact that you're a defensive guy and your defense is lackluster at best,
Mm-hmm.
what am I supposed to believe?
Right. And what here's what gets me, right? So again, we talk about how he's misused timeouts time and time again. And what messes me up is I have seen this man burn two timeouts in a span of 1 minute with 13 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. But 30 seconds left, you got one left, and I forgot I had one. Like I just didn't want to use it. Like that's where I'm
Oh,
like,
dude,
I've seen you.
I'm so glad you brought that up because you ain't never lied. Keep talking your stuff,
I just
Mikey.
I've seen you. I don't know, like it just gets me, bro. It just sends me because I've seen this man wipe his ass with timeouts in the fourth quarter, and then we don't have any in the last 2 minutes when we crucially need them. But you
And
have
you
one with
being
30
nice. You
seconds.
said fourth quarter. I've seen him wipe his ass with timeouts in the
Man,
third.
man, I promise you, I couldn't tell you what game it was, but I remember at some point this season we went into the second half and called timeout immediately in the third quarter, and I was like, okay, like whatever, like what, fuck it, I guess we don't need it. Like first play of the drive, timeout. All right, well, if it comes down to it, we're fucked. But I guess it comes down to it no matter what because we're not using them.
Yeah.
But the biggest one is you the captain of a ship. You are the guy. You are the person who does the hiring. You are the guys who put these people in position to be men amongst boys. I guess men amongst men. I don't know what you want to call it. The alpha dogs. That's the coaching staff. I have already realized immediately after his second year as the Bears head coach that he wasn't equipped to be that. You have Alan Williams, who has to resign due to HR reasons. He was the defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears before Flus took over in 2023. And then obviously you have David Walker, the running backs coach in 2023 as well, fired for HR reasons. Don't know what in the ditty was going on in 2023 with the Chicago Bears, but two of the guys you brought in are fired for HR reasons. Luke Getsy was absolute dog shit, fired. You have Shane Waldron, fired, absolute dog shit. You have all your coaching quarterbacks all the quarterback coaches, I should say, pardon me, were all fired as well. So you have over 8 coaches on your staff have been fired. You're the one hiring them. And that's always been my problem is, okay, you know what? Like, if you're the captain of the ship and your ship stinks, you got to own that. You reap what you
Not
sow.
to mention, you let your quarterback one get traded.
Yeah. That's
Let's not
really what it
forget,
is.
like Justin Fields, who was starting to, really resonate with Chicago fans to a
Mm-hmm.
point where we were defending the guy.
Yeah.
And yes, we understand. Like, after getting a full look at Caleb Williams, I won't lie.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Justin Fields.
I'm
I'm
cool. I'm
gonna,
cool with it.
I'm gonna give it to him. However, you didn't even give Justin Fields a chance to prove himself from not only the bad draft picks, but from the horrible personnel that you aligned around this kid, from the horrible offensive line to you know what I mean, not giving any attention to detail to defense.
Yeah.
I mean to offense, and then we see this again with Caleb Williams, horrible offensive line, no attention to detail to offense to the point where you now went through two offensive coordinators with a guy who's only in his rookie year.
So Rob, hey, let me get this one out because I want you to hear the whole thing. All
Yeah,
right, because this shit was what went through my mind immediately.
yeah,
I'm a Justin Fields fanboy from
yeah,
day one, but when I see Matt Eberflus get fired, I start wondering, what does Justin Fields think? Because if I'm Justin Fields, what I realize in my mind is for the first time in over 100 years as being a franchise in the NFL, the Chicago Bears fired a head coach in the middle of his season. Why wouldn't you do
yeah,
that for me? And to me,
yeah,
that screams they know Caleb Williams is the face of the franchise and the future of this organization. They did not feel that way about Justin Fields. They were completely okay with just throwing him to the wolves and letting him be the patsy, letting him be that guy who just kind of gets us through the hard times until we get
yeah,
ready. It's kind of showing me that, hey, we're not going to, sacrifice Caleb Williams' development for 6 more weeks of incompetence and just ignorance as a head
yeah.
coach. So do you think Justin Fields kind of feel some type of way about, hey man, why the fuck did Luke Getzey get to finish the year? Why did Matt Eberflus get to finish the year? Why did Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy get to finish the year with me? I'm running for my life with fucking Valence Jones and Chase Claypool dropping everything, man. Like, what do you
I
think?
would, I
What would
would
you think?
say, I would say the time that Justin Fields felt anything was to actually see this team go get Keenan Allen and go get Everett and go get all of these offensive weapons that he wasn't even afforded.
Yeah.
I think that time is long past. I would have
And
felt some type of way in the draft. Like
hey, hey,
like what I'm saying, trading season, during the off
yeah,
season and seeing all these players come to, I'm like, well, what happened to the weapons that I was supposed to get?
right.
Like what happened to this? Like, and you know what though? No offense to Justin Fields, but we seen him now, even lose his job to a guy who they thought fell off, and Russell Wilson. But
Yeah.
I think what it really comes down to, my cousin brought up this point. Shout out to my cousin. We were talking about this on Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody who I hope you all had a wonderful holiday out here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Ryan Poles is at the point where he's like, okay, I got rid of the guy that wasn't my quarterback. I chose my quarterback in Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And now I was finally able to get rid of the guy that's not my head coach and Eberflus. Remember, these are all guys he inherited coming in. So now I think you're going to see a big shift in how this Bears organization is built because now Ryan Poles has the ammunition to go to the McCaskies and say, let me get my guy.
You know, Rob, Rob, first, I heard every single word you said. I want you to know
Yeah,
that. But you
yeah.
said something specifically that just made me go on a side quest really quick
Okay.
because you said a name that I have not seen in a very long time, probably since week 2 or 3. Now
Uh,
I'm looking at all of the injury reports. I don't
yeah.
see him on any of them. Where the fuck is Gerald Everett been? Like 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 that's a fucking name. Like I forgot we even had Gerald Everett. I have not seen Gerald Everett since week 2, brother. Like he's not on the New England injury report. He's not on the Green Bay injury report. He's not on any of them. Like I haven't
I've seen
seen the
him.
man.
I've seen him play a couple snaps. Of course, Cole Kmet is their guy, and the Bears are not known for running
Sure.
a two tight end set. But uh, I mean, to me personally, I think you should have been switching him and Kmet out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I don't get me wrong. I love Kmet, but Kmet has a lot of growing to do.
yeah, but listen, I'll tell you this about Cole Kmet because I used to call him brick hands, cinder block feet. Like he was not that guy. Cole Kmet is a dog. Cole
Yeah,
Kmet,
he's still cinder block feet.
he's still cinder block feet, but I'll tell you when that man hits you, that man hits you. And
Oh, for sure,
he's
for
very
sure.
athletic. I think he's a top five. He has top five hands at any tight end in the league right now. I mean,
He has to
he
get
has a
better at
good game.
route running, man.
Sure, sure. But I also think, they kind of put him in a position where he's blocking for the first half of his route anyway. So I'm very curious to see what the future looks like for a guy like Cole Kmet.
I
But
picked him up on my fantasy, so I'm a little salty. That's all.
I understand. I understand. I had Kyle Pitts and TJ Hawkinson all season, so it's been a roller
Oh,
coaster of
TJ's a
emotions.
bum.
TJ gave me
I'm
21
sorry. No,
points.
I love TJ. Don't get me wrong. I
No,
love
I
TJ.
get you.
It's just
I
when they
get you.
piss me off, they become bums. That's
Yeah.
all.
No, Kyle Pitts is a. I'll tell you what. Kyle Pitts is the biggest bum I've ever seen. Now
For
that
sure.
man was
For
supposed to be
sure.
one of them ones.
For
But
sure.
Rob, I have a fear in my mind that we're going to be having a similar conversation in a couple years about the next Bears head coach. Just because, history's past has told us that they're going to make the wrong move. I've heard Mike
Yeah.
Vrabel's name be mentioned, and I'm like, please God, no. Brian Flores' name has been mentioned. I'm please God, no. Like, stop the defensive-minded guys. Like, let's bring in some offense. Let's give an early Christmas wish list of Bears head coaching candidates. First, I want to mention Thomas Brown also being a candidate. So I want to ask you the first
Yeah.
question is, do you think the next 6 games will be significant in the head coaching search for a guy like Brown who's already here? You go from passing game coordinator to head coach in a span of 3 fucking weeks. Like
Yeah.
it's a tall order, but
It
do you
is.
think he has a shot at potentially winning that head coaching job like we saw in Vegas?
I don't think he has a shot as of yet. I
Mm,
think Thomas Brown has a lot of things to prove. But when you got guys out there like a Bill Belichick, and I know you say you want to get away from the defensive minded coaches,
yeah,
but we also got to remember the impact that this guy had just on from a culture standpoint,
yeah.
to the point where they were saying that the Patriots were willing to do to the Belichick way. So you have some great coaches out there right now where unfortunately for Thomas Brown, he's not going to get the first glance at. But I think right now these next 6 games are important for his future in coaching.
Mm.
Period.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think what's hard for a guy like Brown right now is he's still running Shane Waldron's offense, and he's been very open about that. You just can't switch it like that. Now he's obviously
No, you
running
can't.
it. He's running it a hell of a lot better than Shane ever could, without a doubt. Like I ain't
Yeah.
seen Keenan Allen in the first 6 weeks of the season. Keenan Allen now looks like a wide receiver one, rightfully so. He's a Hall of
I
Fame wide
mean,
receiver.
Keenan Allen has been getting so many touches. He's injured again.
Yeah, like
That's what. I'm sorry. I couldn't
you're
resist.
horrible. You're a horrible person. You're a horrible person. Hey, you know when Keenan Allen start getting the ball, he gonna have that hamstring get pulled a
He
little
gonna get
bit. But
hurt. He gonna get hurt sooner or
hey,
later. But that means
hey,
you're doing something right.
I saw that bald ass head on I'm going viral on Twitter the other day too. I know he was sick. But no man, I definitely do think it's important for Brown to continue to earn that respect. I mean, we've seen the Las Vegas Raiders retain interim head coach and now is a long term head coach at least this point in time. So it's definitely possible. Now I do think there are several names that are potentially out there. If Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan want to leave, they immediately get the job without even being interviewed.
For sure. I would love to get a Cal Shanahan here.
Exactly.
With Caleb Williams, I would love that.
It would be insane. And then obviously, you have guys like Bill Belichick, you have guys like Mike Vrabel, and a lot of first time guys as well that I think can definitely get opportunities like Ben Johnson. And then obviously, if you do believe that Caleb Williams is going to be here for the next 10 years, you have to look at a Cliff Kingsbury who worked with him at USC. You have to look at a guy like Lincoln Riley, who, as much as I don't want to bring in a college guy, if Caleb says, hey, that's my guy, and he has that much pull, okay, maybe you consider it. But there's a lot of guys that I think are going to get those opportunities. Personally, myself, I think it's between Ben Johnson or Cliff Kingsbury. What Cliff Kingsbury's been able to do with Jaden Daniels this year, I think has been very impressive. He's worked with Caleb at USC.
Well,
It's it's impressive.
I
It's impressive.
kind of, it was impressive
No,
until
so let me
his,
let me
his his ugly record started to rear his
right.
ugly head at
Sure.
quarterbacks having a drop off after the
Sure.
second half of the season.
But would you also kind of okay, so here's where I'll kind of push back on that, right? So they were one of the top 5 teams in the NFL in the first half of the year.
Yeah,
That to me, that's not who they were. That's not who they were supposed to be at this season at all. So it's not like they were the San Francisco 49ers and they're just shitting the
but we
bed right
we
now.
we
That's
saw that
bad.
song and dance with Arizona when
Sure.
Kyler Murray came in,
Sure.
and they were in a position that they weren't supposed to be in, and then
Right.
sooner or later they came back down to earth.
A little bit, but I
You
think they still
know,
got a lot of work to do. I think one, you look at that defense, losing Montez Sweat, losing Chase Young, using damn near the entire defense. You definitely do got to fix that. And Dan
oh, for
Quin's done a
sure.
pretty good job of it with what he has. But I think the big thing with Cliff that I kind of want to see is more NFL scheme plays. I think it's very quick, it's very fast paced, it's very college, and that's cool. Like you said, first half of the year, but once guys start to adjust, okay, cool, boom, 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 and then maybe a magical Hail Mary doesn't go your way. Now you're losing games left and right. So it's like
Hmm.
I definitely do think Cliff does have that NFL experience as a head coach. It wasn't horrible, so it's like maybe we can entertain that.
I think,
Personally,
me personally, I think what Sean Payton has done with the Denver Broncos is going to have a lot of coaches, a lot of GMs looking at coaches with backgrounds of head coaching in the NBA. I think what the Denver Broncos have been has been wonderful.
mm,
Like Bo Nix got off to a rocky
hey,
start.
bro, hey,
That
hey,
now, hey, I've been telling people,
Bo
Bo
Nix
Nix
is the
gonna be
rookie of the
him.
fucking year.
Bo Nix is him. Like
Yeah,
I saw the man at Oregon, and I saw the destruction that they put on Colorado.
yeah,
Everybody know I'm a Colorado fan because of my boy Coach Prime. I saw what Bo Nix and them did going in there. Like Bo Nix is a dog, and I knew it would translate well into the NFL, especially with him getting a fifth year in
mm-hmm,
college due to COVID situation and him being able to really hone in on his skills. And you see that translating to the NFL. And then you get a guy like Sean Payton, who's your head coach, who got to, manipulate the talents of a Drew Brees. And now seeing what he's doing with Bo Nix, it's going to be hard for other teams to look out there and not say, I want a veteran head coach to kind of, because there's a lot of young quarterbacks out there right now.
for sure. What do you think about I see him. I see him. I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. I've seen John Gruden all over social media talking about
Yeah,
Caleb Williams and the Bears. One, do you think John is making all this content, all this Bears content, hoping that he gets a job? And two, do you think the Bears would even entertain that with what he's done in the past?
possibly. I know he's done some wild things in the past, but you also got to remember John Gruden's a Super Bowl champion
Mm-hmm.
with that Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad in 2002. So, you got to remember that this, again, a veteran guy, championship experience, who can bring the best out of teams, regardless of what you feel about the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And somebody who's not going to just demand respect from the team itself, but from the whole coaching organization. I think that's the problem that Eberflus has run into. Nobody really respects Eberflus.
Yeah.
And once you lose the respect and you lose the locker room, you start to lose games in the season.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now for me, here's where we'll switch sides a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want one of these old motherfuckers, man. I really don't.
Okay.
I could give a damn about John, and there's a reason why John's making a video on a Facebook Live the same way I am right now. It's because you ain't shit, John. That's just what it is. 2002, I was 2 years old. Yeah, Dookie, you buns, you basura, you're not getting a shot at my franchise
Hey,
quarterback.
hey, hey. All I got to do is tell you, go back
Hey,
and go watch that Buccaneers team.
cool. Cool. And a Buccaneers team that averaged like 200 yards passing a game, it's a totally different era. You know what I mean? Like we got some shooters in the building now, and that's really what it is. It's like you got snipers like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. All these boys are throwing 300, 400, 500 yards a game. I haven't
without a
seen
doubt.
John be able to manage something like that. But and also, I want to go back to the South Side. Bill Belichick, to me, going to the Chicago Bears is Tony La Russa managing the Chicago White Sox. You are a legend. You are a multiple time champion. You have managed dynasties. You are that guy. You're old as shit, and the past is the past, and now is now. It's just not the time for Bill Belichick. And we saw that
Mm,
with Mac Jones and them boys, that it just wasn't going to be that. And also, to that point, my problem with Bill is, can I trust Bill to just be Bill? Can I trust Bill to
mm.
just be the head coach? Or is he going to be in Ryan Poles' ear telling you who to draft, telling you which guy at Drew Losko is going to be the next slot receiver for a championship caliber team? Because that's what Bill was all about. Hey, give me that random 5'8" white boy. He's going to be in our slot. Like, what the?
For
But
sure.
for me, Ben Johnson is that guy. And if I were the Bears, I would have told Matt Eberflus, hey, man, you could take Spirit Airline the fuck home or wherever you want to go. I do not care. Ben Johnson is coming with us because if the Lions, let's say for sake of argument, make it to the Super Bowl this year or have a deep playoff run, Ben Johnson has been a part of a winning culture with Dan Campbell. What he's been able to do for this Lions offense, managing both Gibbs and Montgomery. Amon Ra has become a top 5 household name. You have guys like Jared Goff, who's basically was sent to
You
Detroit to
still
kind of,
got Sam Laporte. You got
man,
Jameson Williams. You
you got
got
all
like
these guys.
you
Got
got
all these
you got
guys.
a whole slate of guys over there that you know what I'm saying. You know what to what you're saying to their testament. You haven't heard any official guys complain about the fact that
No,
they're not getting enough attention.
no. And every single one of them to that point does get attention. And I think
They do.
at some
They
point throughout the
do.
game,
Especially if you look at the way that they run those two running backs.
yeah, that's really just what it is. And I think he's like, here's my thing. I think a lot of people looked at Shane Waldron and said, well, he was able to manage DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, K9, Geno Smith, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. He's going to be able to manage DJ, Rome, and Keenan. Yeah, that's cool, but also Seattle never won shit. So he had all of those guys, but one, Jackson Smith and Jigba wasn't who he was last year, who he is now. And there's actual proof. You know, if you look at the route runnings he was doing in 2023 versus 2024, it's completely different. And with Shane Waldron, how it was with DJ Moore in 2023, doing a little bit of everything. Now he's just running fucking screenplays. And even with Thomas Brown, he looks like Debo Samuel. You're just pitching him the ball basically as a quarterback.
Hmm.
But for me, when I see Ben Johnson, I see a guy who can not only utilize Caleb Williams to the best of his ability, but get everybody to be the best versions of themselves. DJ Moore is not Debo Samuel. You do not need him in the backfield. You do not need to pitch him the ball. He is a contested wide receiver. He can jump with the best of them. Roma Dunze, big body, fast guy. He's a mixture of DJ and Keenan, if you ask me. And I
Hmm.
think he's the guy that you're going to give the 50-50 balls to, pause. And then a Keenan Allen, that's a Hall of Famer, brother. Like, I don't need him running curl routes. That's a Hall of Famer. And to your point earlier, yeah, he'll probably end up on the IR at some point, but that's Keenan Allen. You know what I mean? Like, Keenan
Yeah,
Allen's going to
for
be the
sure.
tough guy. That's what he's going to do. Cole Kmet, I saw Cole Kmet blocking in year 4 of his career for the first 7-8 weeks of this season, and it pissed me the fuck off. Now, the O line is the O line, and that's going to need to be addressed at a different time. We're not even going to talk about that tonight because I'll tell you right now, Rob, I don't care what you or anybody said. I don't care if Matt Eberflus looked at
Yeah,
me in the face and told me no. The first 7 rounds of the 2025 NFL draft, we are drafting every offensive lineman possible. I don't care. All 7 rounds. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Fuck it. I'll trade up. Do 2 7th rounds. We are drafting a big boy.
I agree. I
I don't give
agree.
a fuck. I don't give a
I
fuck.
agree.
If I'm walking past UIC's campus tomorrow and I see some fat boy eating a Twinkie, I'm gonna be, hey, bro, what you doing April 25th? Hey, man, put your hat in the draft, man. We might have something for you. You know, like that's where I'm at because I understand that's not our only issue. We definitely do need another pass rusher next to Montez Sweat. I haven't seen much of Montez Sweat this year, if we're being completely honest. After we paid him, he's kind of been quiet. But also, you didn't really pair him up with another pass rusher. And that was one of the biggest issues. He lost Yannick Ngakwe. You replaced him after you traded with Seattle to get Taylor. It just hasn't really turned into anything that we expected it to be. So I definitely get that from that standpoint. But Robbie, before we get out of here, man,
Yeah,
when am I gonna see Rob Scott, the greatness, Team Greatness 13, back on the airwaves, man?
coming soon. I don't want to make no promises, but I'm coming soon.
I hate that. I hate that so much. But man, we
Don't
appreciate
don't
Rob Scott,
look
man.
look look. I'm
Look, you
I'm
look,
I'm
you
getting back
look,
into
you look.
I'm getting back into mode, man. I'm getting back into mode, man. You know, like I said, I had a lot going on, and I'm trying to set some things up in the background to the point where I can do this freely.
Mm,
That's all.
mm,
When the money calls, the money calls.
mm.
Look,
Get the fuck out of my face, Rob Scott. No,
tell
I'm
our
playing.
welcome, tell our welcome to Mars people. You get these followers
Man,
and views up. I
man,
can focus more.
man. I don't, well, if people didn't try to steal our shit all the time, we wouldn't have to fucking do that. We was rolling for a minute. We really were. We really
Hey,
were
nah,
rolling.
hey, nah. But look, let me give you your roses, man. I've been seeing you out here grinding, man. Seeing the different takes you've been doing as far as interviewing fans, interviewing these players, getting your name out there, man. Mike Hughes, you're truly goated, my boy.
Yeah, we all got stuff to
Goat
figure
man,
out.
goat man. Yeah, that's him.
Nah. We got a lot of stuff to figure out, man. The money, we rolling, man.
Hey, we gonna figure it out,
We
but
gonna figure it out.
you don't stop. You don't
Uh,
stop. You look, you got me back out here doing. I ain't done this in a long time. I actually
hey,
feel pretty good.
hey, you look good. You look good. I had to touch you. Man,
Pause.
don't
Pause.
resume. You know, I kiss you on your hot mouth, Rob Scott. Don't
Oh
play with me.
Lord Jesus!
Oh
Hey, you
Lord
pause that,
Jesus,
Lord
hey,
Jesus.
hey,
Pause.
I know Tim Flowers just turned off the episode. I know that much.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
said,
it's
"Fuck
good. Yeah, you
this,
get like, hold
fuck
on,
this."
wow, this guy, wow.
Oh man, he said, "Don't come to no games this year, man. Don't come to no games this year." But man, we
Hey, shout
appreciate
out
y'all
to
tuning in,
Simeon
man.
though. Shout out to Simeon, man.
Man, for sure, for sure. But we'll be back at it, man. We'll have Rob Scott on at some point before
Hey,
the end of
have
the
me back
season.
on here, man. Hey,
Hey, man,
I'm down to be with my boy the Shock T.
come
You
on,
feel me?
come on, come
You
on.
feel me?
Come on, but make sure you give us a like, give us a follow if you haven't already to iHeartRadio's very own Give Us a Shot Network. Until then, man, I'm Mike Hughes, aka the Shy Kid, sitting here today with Team Greatness, Rob Scott of Rob's Two Cents. Make sure you show him some love. Follow him at Team Greatness 13 on Instagram. Doing his thing sometimes on TikTok too if you catch him on a good day. But until then, man, we'll check you guys out later. Peace.
Give them a shot to do what?